Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Be the Wolf. Today, I want to talk to you about something very important, and I want to share with you why only 0.2% of entrepreneurs make over $1 million a year consistently. And consistently is the key word here. And I want to share with you also why you might not be able to get there, even if you're doing all the things the super successful business gurus are doing. And we're going to dive deep into the reason behind this so that you can start to up level the revenue of your business, the profits of your business, and have it be consistent and sustainable. Sure, lots of entrepreneurs get there, but can they keep it there? I know so many entrepreneurs that have brought in six figures for a year or two, and then everything crashed and burned. So I'm going to share with you how you can actually get there and keep it there. Now, when you started your entrepreneurial journey, you unknowingly brought something that would determine the fate of your business. And this is called your success zone. You may have heard me talk about it, but we're going to deep dive into it. And your success zone is that secret to making that consistent big bucks, or those consistent big bucks. Now, everybody has a success zone, and everybody's success zone is different. You know, your friend who's always broke and everything is always going wrong with them, no matter how hard they work? That person has a small success zone. And you know, the friend who seems to have the Midas touch, everything they do seems to turn to gold, even when they barely put in any effort. Opportunities always just seem to fall into their lap. They seem like they are so lucky. Well, that person has a big success zone. And the size of the success zone is the reason why some entrepreneurs are stressed out. They're miserable. They hate their business. They're working their butts off and they're barely getting by. And why other entrepreneurs are working 15 hours a week. They're making millions and they have a life that they love. And which one of those entrepreneurs do you want to be? Which one of those entrepreneurs are you now? Now, the thing is you've been carrying your success zone with you day in and day out since long before you started your business. So let's dive in here first with what is your success zone? The simple version of it is it's the amount of success that you can carry consistently day in and day out without wearing yourself down. Imagine a backpack, right? If your backpack is too heavy, over time, you're just going to get tired and worn out. If your backpack is too light, you might not have all of the things that you need to traverse all the different kinds of terrain you may need to traverse. So if you're trying to carry too much, and this is what so many entrepreneurs do, they're really pushing to make those gains and they're trying to carry so much. Their backpack is too full. So if you're trying to do that, you're not going to be able to sustain those gains and loss will inevitably happen. It's why good things are often followed by not so good things. It's why the record highs are often followed by record lows. It's why signing a big client sometimes causes a breakdown of systems, or you lose a handful of other clients as a result. And it's why a lot of entrepreneurs are running themselves into the ground, running themselves into burnout and losing time and health, right? Just think about that backpack metaphor. If your backpack is too heavy, you're going to have to stop and rest, or you're going to be too sore to move fast the next day. Whatever it is, you're causing loss of time, loss of health. And another thing that happens when you're trying to carry too much is even when your business is doing great, you feel like you're broke. Like there's not enough. Like there's never enough. So you're just always hungry, no matter how big the wins are. You're just like, it's not enough. I'm not safe. It's not sustainable. I'm scared, right? It's that constant worry. You sign a big client and you're just like, oh my God, I still need to, it's not, we're not safe. That constant feeling of not being safe. And when you carry too much, you slow yourself down. You put in crazy effort, but you can't sustain it. And you have to stop and rest and constantly reboot, or you just burn out and are forced to stop. And that's usually what happens to most entrepreneurs. Most are not so great at stopping and resting and making sure that they are in tip top shape. They will run until they crash. Another thing, you might have to let go of something so that you don't drop the extra thing that you're carrying. So it's always this, I'm trying to carry more, but I have to let go of something to be able to carry what I'm trying to carry. This is what's happening when you work like crazy to meet those deadlines and then procrastinate on new projects. You land the big whale of a client, and then the next month you lose those small fishes. And when your business starts doing well, like really well, you've got to put more into it, and your physical health, your mental health, or your relationships start to suffer. And finally, if you really go overboard and you try to carry way too much, you really crash and everything crumbles. You take out loans that you end up not being able to pay back, and then the whole business goes under. So, those are things that happen when you try to carry more than your success zone can hold. In the end, it always seems like you just end up with the same amount of success or less. Now, one of my clients, I remember she was working her ass off and she built her company to six figures, but she was paying the people in her business more than she was even paying herself. And she was working so much, she was into burnout. She needed that motivation, though, to make the money. She needed to have to pay people or risk that disappointment of them in order to actually keep the business running at that high level. She needed to force herself into, it's almost like a double bind. Like, I can only bring in the money if I've got all of these people to pay. And that's what's keeping me driven. But it's not sustainable. She's working herself into burnout, trying to make sure that everybody got paid. And she had, once her success zone started to expand, she had this big aha. She realized that she could scale everything back and that her profits and her bottom line could increase. And this seemed like a simple fix. The fact that she could see this easy shift showed it was evidence that her success zone was expanding. But she had to expand her success zone even more to actually do it. Otherwise, she would have scaled back too far and ended up with the same shit profits that she was making before. We tend to hold the same amount of success no matter what we do, no matter what direction we place our efforts. And sometimes, in her case, if she had not expanded her success zone more to be able to scale back, she probably would have ended up making less money, because part of her old consistent, what was in her success zone, was the massive stress plus small profits, small monetary gain for herself. Sure, great monetary gain for everybody else, but small monetary gain for herself, along with massive stress. So subconsciously, she would have ended up creating that same formula the company would have looked smaller and she would have been doing less work, but she probably would have been making less money for herself to make that stress happen because that was her consistent. That was what was in her success zone. So she would have recreated stress and small money. But expanding her success zone meant that she was able to actually scale back and bring in more money for herself. Her company wasn't bringing in massive revenue, but the bottom line and her profits and the money she got to put in her pocket was greater, and her stress was way smaller. So her financial rewards increased, her stress decreased, and that was because her success zone had gotten bigger. So the results in her life were matching the size of her success zone. Now, if you choose to carry less than your success zone, take it easy. I'm just going to float by. Now, if you do that, if you take it easy and carry less than your success zone shrinks to the size of what you choose to carry. This happens when you fuck off and do the bare minimum, or you play it super safe. You never take any risks. And then when you do that, it becomes even more scary to try something new and to take a risk. This happens when you second guess yourself or you let other people's opinions dictate your actions. And when your success zone shrinks, it becomes more difficult to get back to that level of success that you could have had. You see this happen when entrepreneurs get comfortable. Perhaps they create a partnership that gives them a steady stream of customers. But then what happens if that partnership ends? This was, I don't know if you guys remember Farmville. Zynga was the company that created Farmville on Facebook many years ago. And this was what happened to them. One of the big problems that they had is the company was almost completely reliant on Facebook, and it caused problems for them and caused them to lose a ton of money because they only had that one revenue stream happening. And when Facebook changed their terms and their policies, it really caused massive damage to the company. And of course, when you're starting out, you're maybe only going to have one revenue stream. But once that gets consistent, then you start working on other things. And you can't do that if your success zone is small or if you're just getting comfortable. Oh, this is great. I've got all this money coming in from this partnership, but you're not doing any work to expand. So there's a saying that goes, if you're not growing, you're dying. This means that even when things seem steady, you need to be looking for growth opportunities. In sales, they say always be prospecting. And ultimately, this comes down to creating. Are you creating new partnerships, new products, new offers, new services? What are you creating? Are you creating new things for your business? Obviously, these new things need to be in alignment. If it's not in alignment, you're probably having some problems with your success zone because your products, your services, your partnerships, there all needs to be some congruence and some alignment. But what are you creating? Creating and growing are synonymous. Not everything that you create will work, but it may be the bridge and it may be the learning that leads to the thing that works. So always be creating. If you stop creating, your success zone is shrinking, which means that your success will shrink. Now, if you're not having the success that you want in your business, especially if you're doing all the right things, the kind of success that you desire is probably outside of your success zone. And the thing is, once you've hit the boundary of your success zone, you hit that top, right? You've maxed out how much success that you can consistently maintain. Again, you can bring in a whole lot of success, but will you be able to maintain it? If you're bringing in, say, $20 million in your company, but your success zone is a $3 million success zone, you're probably somehow sabotaging and spending 17 million where you wouldn't necessarily need to be doing that. If your success zone was a $10 million success zone, you'd find a way to do the same things while only spending 10 million of those dollars. So when you hit the boundary of your success zone, you're going to hit some sort of plateau that you can't seem to break, whether you're yo-yoing up and down, or whether you're just hitting a revenue plateau, you're bringing in more revenue, but more money is going out, so the profits stay the same. Maybe your company is doing really well, but you are buying a lot of things. So you personally seem to have the same amount of money that you had before the company did well, maybe even less, or your company's finances are going up and down. You're bringing in a big client, you're losing smaller clients, you're having a big windfall and expand, but a year or two later, you have to downsize. You're working more than ever, but the business isn't growing. These are all signs that you're hitting the boundary of your success zone. Your main money strategies are maybe they're holding the business steady, but they're not helping it grow. Or you might be constantly changing your offers, your products, and somehow it's not creating the growth that you want. Another one is you get those big cash influxes, you close those big deals, and the happiness that you feel from it, the satisfaction quickly gives way to worrying about the next big win. You know that you're hitting a boundary of your success zone when you have a lot of worry. That is a big sign. And when you hit that boundary, as I said before, you've capped out, you've maxed out. And even if you're doing all the right things, you won't be able to get to the next level without sacrificing something else in your life. Again, this is why entrepreneurs burn out. They're working night and day, slowly chipping away at their relationships, their physical health, their mental health. You remember the biggest regret so many people have on their deathbed is they're not spending enough time with the people they love. They didn't spend enough time with the people they love. And let's face it, your body is not an unlimited resource. Once you've tapped that resource out, you're screwed. Everything else will start to collapse. And once you've hit that boundary of your success zone, no surefire strategy will get you to the next level without some sort of loss. This is why you may have started doing a new strategy. Maybe you're even working with a coach to implement a new strategy, and everybody else in the course or that the coach is working with is having these massive, beautiful results, but you're not having those same results. That's a sign you've hit the boundary of your success zone. Something like the advertising for your new sales funnel will end up costing way more than you expect. So the money that comes in ends up being the same. Your new marketing doesn't work with your established audience and ends up costing more than the new money you bring in. A new product launch causes customer confusion, and a lot of the old customers stop buying. Again, right? You see these things. It's like you bring in the new thing and it causes this loss. These are signs you've hit that boundary of the success zone. Or a new strategy works so well that you have to hire people, which leaves your profits end up being the same. And now you have to spend more effort managing a bigger team. And so that even ends up being loss. You might even go down. It might feel like your success zone is shrinking, like you're working harder for less money. Now, if you pivot to another strategy that promises big results and it works for other people, but it's not working for you, I talked about that earlier. That is a huge sign, and you're doing all the right things, that people that are helping you out with that strategy, the coaches, the mentors, whoever, they're looking at and they're like, I don't understand why this isn't working for you. That's a sign you've hit the boundary of your success zone. I mean, I get it. I was doing all the right things to make my business work. And my business coaches and my mentors were super confused. They didn't understand. They were like, how can you be so good at everything we teach you, but nothing is working for you? I've been there. I totally get it. It's not fun. And it's so frustrating because you're putting in the effort, your desire, your drive is there, but it's just not happening for you. The good news is, yes, there's good news. The good news is that expanding your success zone creates business growth without having to implement another perfect money making strategy. I'm sure you actually have everything you need. You have already have the knowledge and the resources to make things work. Once you expand your success zone, you can see what was missing. But it's really hard to see it because your success zone is keeping you locked in a box. A mentor I used to have would say, you can't read the label from inside the jar. Chris Howard would always say that to me. And it's the same thing with your success zone. So you can't see the piece that would make your business work or make those strategies work because you're inside of it. And most of the coaches who are trying to teach you those strategies, they learned those strategies from other gurus. So they don't know how to troubleshoot it from all the different angles. They don't know how to troubleshoot it from 20 different people's perspective. You have a unique brain. Your success zone works in a unique way. You have your unique subconscious drivers that keep your success zone in place and cause the problems that keep your success zone small. And most of those business gurus do not know how to troubleshoot for your subconscious drivers that are keeping those strategies from working for you. They just know how to do the mechanics of it, but they don't know how to uncover what is the thing that you're doing wrong, because it's almost always has nothing to do with the actual mechanics. You've got the mechanics down, right? You're doing all the right things. The mechanics are there, but there's something else. And most of the business gurus who are teaching those money making strategies, they do not know how to troubleshoot for that. And so that's why a lot of their clients will do really, really well. And there'll be a few of them that struggle and are not getting the results. It's because they don't know how to troubleshoot for those subconscious drivers that keep the boundaries of the success zone in place. Now, when you expand your success zone, your business grows at a sustainable, steady rate. You're not going to have that instant silver bullet, $1 million tomorrow, but you will create steady steps that allow your business to grow and maintain that growth. There is no more of that yo-yoing. So you might stay a little bit steady and then grow, and a little bit steady and then grow. And what that does is if you lose a little bit, you're only losing a little. You're not losing this big, huge step that you tried to take, that you didn't have the foundation or the success zone to be able to hold it consistently. Now, expanding your success zone helps you to work your optimum number of hours. So, no more overworking yourself into burnout, no more driving yourself into the ground. You'll start to work on the projects that excite you. You'll find the time and the space for that. You'll build a team of people that you truly enjoy being around. So not only does your work and your business become fun to work in and run, but the people you're around are fun to be around. And you know the next steps for your business at every stage of growth. And you know you'll have the money and the resources to make it happen. Now, the thing about your success zone, though, is that it includes the success of your entire life, not just your business. And as entrepreneurs, we're always thinking about the success of our business, but we're not often thinking about the entirety of the success of our life. You don't want to lose success in other areas of your life because your business starts to do really well. So a lot of times the business will do really well and you'll end up falling off on your physical health. Maybe you're not taking as good a care of yourself. You're not eating as well. Maybe your mental health because you start to get more stressed out or you don't have as much time to devote to your relationships. So you don't want one area of your life to do really well and another area to start to shrink because, again, your success zone is cumulative. Like if you're single and running a business and it's all going great, and then you end up in this really great relationship, a lot of times what will happen is the business will suffer. And again, we want to expand our success in all areas of our life. We want our business to continue to grow. We want our relationships to be wonderful. We want our health and our mental health to be wonderful. So we don't want to give up success in one area for another. Let's face it, all of those other things, your physical health, your mental health, and your relationships, they affect your business to some degree. It's almost impossible to have a 10-star business if those areas aren't working well. Like you're not going to be, if you're not good at relationships, you're going to struggle to create opportunities and your employees won't perform very well. If your physical or mental health are suffering, you're not going to perform well, which is going to leave you susceptible to making wrong decisions and steering your company straight off a cliff. And one of my clients, I remember she used to yo-yo like crazy. You get those big commissions and then you might not have another sale for a little while. So she was yo-yoing big time between the windfalls of money and then she would go in debt. She couldn't hold a consistent, steady space of income. She'd spend like crazy when she had the money. She'd get that big sale and she'd just go crazy and spend the money. It was like true feast or famine. But the reality is, she was spending most of her time in famine because her success zone was in that place of famine. So, expanding your success zone, it doesn't make you successful overnight. It's not a silver bullet. And trust me, I spent decades looking for silver bullets. They don't exist. The only way to get sustainable, steady results without side effects, negative side effects, is to build slowly and steadily. And the thing is once you do that, you get to this tipping point where all of a sudden it just starts to expand. It almost at that point feels like a silver bullet, but it's like a snowball rolling down a hill. It's pretty small at the beginning. And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then there's this tipping point with like every roll, that snowball gets crazy exponentially bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what happens with your business success. So it doesn't happen overnight when you expand your success zone. It's kind of like if you quit smoking, you don't instantly feel better. But over time, you start to notice the differences. You start to notice that you're not huffing and puffing as you're climbing up those stairs. And then you notice you have more stamina. and you just start to sleep better and feel better. So, again, it's like that snowball effect. So, my client that I was just talking about, when she started expanding her success, the first thing she was able to do was curb her spending. And then she could portion out her money so that her windfalls would carry her through for a long time. And then once she was able to do that and her success zone started to expand even more, then she was able to take those daily consistent actions that started to make the income more steady. So it didn't become months in between sales. It became weeks in between sales. I just checked in with her not that long ago, and she's making sales weekly. And that's a big difference in what she's creating. She's also working with higher end clients, so those checks are bigger and bigger. And so as her success zone expanded, she made the income more steady, and it got exponentially bigger and bigger. And she was able to plan for the future and just create that steady, consistent income. And the thing is that she's still not spending like crazy like she ever used to, because a lot of the reason she was spending like that was she was trying to make up for the way she was feeling when she felt like she was in famine and broke, and she was so uncertain and scared of her future and feeling unstable. So there it is. Expanding your success zone will expand your business success. And this is an aspect that a lot of the business people aren't talking about. They're talking about what you have to do, the physical things, those physical money-making strategies that will get you to the next level. And again, like I said, a lot of those business gurus, they can't tell you how to expand your success zone, because everybody's success zone is different. The subconscious drivers that keeps their success zone small, or a person's success zone small, is going to be different for each person. So what works for one person isn't going to be what worked for another person. And because of that, it's so hard to get the right advice for you to actually break through those subconscious drivers. And a lot of entrepreneurs, honestly, they have to lose everything, sometimes 2 and 3 times, before they actually are able to expand their success zone wide enough to hold that massive success. I don't want that for you. I don't want you to have to go through the pain of years of struggle and losing everything just so you can have the success that you want in your life. You know, this is business, of course, but also the full life. Our life isn't just business. So I want to give you a free guide, which will give you some information that will help you to expand your success zone. It is called The 3 Secrets the Business Gurus Never Talk About. It's about growing your business and having fun doing it. You can open up your browsers, everybody. Do this now, because if you're like, oh, I'll do it later, you'll probably forget. So open up your browsers right now, type in BeTheWolfGift.com, type it in, BeTheWolfGift.com, and you can grab those 3 secrets. And the best part about that is once you get that free guide, you'll get access to another free resource on how to expand your success zone. So those 3 secrets are going to give you some tips. And if you can master them, your success zone will expand. But just getting that free guide will give you access to another free resource that will show you even more directly how to expand your success zone. So I want you all to expand your success zone, to tap into the fullest power of you, because As I always say on this show, when you unleash the power of you, humanity evolves. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you are taking the steps right now to expand your success zone. Remember, grab that guide at BeTheWolfGift.com, and we'll see you all next time on Be the Wolf. Bye, everybody.